Hey, so there's been this massive advertising campaign with billboards and t-shirts. It's been awesome. All these billboards say is the dictionary definition of the word woman. Okay, it's a noun, it means adult, human, female. It should be so non-controversial, right? Like the definition of anything. Why is the definition controversial? Well, because a woman isn't a woman anymore, right? You know, it's offensive towards trans people. Seriously, there's been like massive outcry. Now this outcry and this campaign both occurred over in England, but I think that in the right state, here in the United States, it could happen now. So, woman is offensive. That's like the new leftist mantra. The company, Prime Site Direct, they issued an apology. An apology for putting up these billboards. The billboard company. They issued a statement. It says, quote, "At first glance, this copy did not raise a red flag the way it should have done," unquote. See, they have these people who are paid just to look at ads and look for profanity and stuff like that and make sure it's fine. And somebody, this came across his desk and he looks and says, well, what's wrong with that? And moves on. 2 seconds, right? That's all it would take for a normal person like you or I. But no. See, he wasn't thinking like one of these idiots. Seriously, woman is offensive? It's really similar to the whole "it's okay to be white" mantra, right? Where a bunch of people put these posters up that just said "it's okay to be white" and they stuck them at places like college campuses. Because it's something that ought to be basic. Of course it's okay to be white. Of course it's okay to have an immutable characteristic, something that you can't choose. You just are. But they knew that these crazy leftists would find that abhorrent. Would think that there is a problem with being white, or there is a problem with being a woman. And it's insane. And these campaigns really show just how insane they really are, right? You would think that they would want to at least hold up some kind of normal appearance, but they don't anymore. They've just gone all the way in. And there's this huge irony that in today's supposed feminist world, it's not okay to be a woman. Because you're not a woman, not really. You have to choose your gender. There are no genders. We're all just mixed together and we can just choose what and who we are. And trans people are like more woman. Like a guy who says he's a woman is like more of a woman than a woman. Right. So women have to fight feminism now. Because the feminists are the same people who are like pushing these trans rights, right? These stupid trans doctrines. That's the feminists who are pushing that, even though it's destructive towards women. It hasn't been okay to be a man in a while. Like we hear these different phrases like mansplaining. A man explains something, he's mansplaining. Or toxic masculinity. Or even, you're a man, the phrase you're a man is a slur. You get that? Like, if you look at a political issue, for instance, female access to contraception and whether or not it should be funded by the government, if a guy says something about that, then he gets stuck with, you're just a man, you can't speak. He's supposed to just silently fund it. Fund it, but quietly. Really? So for a while, it hasn't been okay to be a guy. He can't act like a guy, he can't talk if he's a guy. But now, it's also not okay to be a woman, and don't forget, it's not okay to be white either. It's only going to be okay to speak if you're not white, not heterosexual. Like if you're like some kind of sexual deviant, then it's okay for you to speak. In fact, it's better if you speak than if somebody else speaks. This definition of woman is important because without it, you eliminate every protection of women that there has ever been. Like the privacy rights, such as the separation of men and women in different bathrooms, and the separation of men and women in different prisons for the same reasons, the specific healthcare differences that they have that mandate access to female doctors, these things that we have supposedly achieved in Western civilization, which overall haven't been achieved like anywhere else. But those achievements are gone in one fell swoop. by the same people who supposedly care about feminism. See, the word is interesting because you say feminism, not like womanism, right? It's like femininity. Like if a guy acts feminine, then suddenly he's covered. It's unreal. But women have to fight against feminism just so they can be women and so they can be protected. See, those rights that I was just talked about were rights that existed under chivalry, or which have been slanted. They came about under what's now been slanted as the patriarchy. These women's rights that recognize that a woman is weaker than a man physically. Those rights are just being like squandered. Because if a man can be a woman, then women aren't anything different, and thus they don't need those special protections, right? I think that if Cavanaugh had called himself trans, we'd be having a whole different public conversation about whether or not he should be confirmed. It would have been awesome had he done that. Had he just, when they had their hashtag believe women, if it had come out and said, oh, but by the way, I identify as a woman, it would have been awesome. Like, leftist heads would have just exploded. Like, who do we believe? I don't know who to believe now, because which one is a woman? Seriously, it would have been great. They wouldn't have known who to believe. Actually, okay, I'm just joking, because they would have known who to believe because they have this record in which they don't believe people who are conservative. That's what it's really about, because if someone, for instance, accuses Bill Clinton of rape, then they're lying. But it's not about like women versus men, or even about trans people. It's really just conservatives are bad, reliably. But this whole billboard thing, it matters. It's like a microcosm of what is going on in a grand scale, where men can't be men, women can't be women, white people can't be white people. Black people aren't good black people if they vote conservative. This kind of class warfare Marxism thing that is expanding, so people can't be okay with who they are. And it's so very wrong. And I was talking about the separation between the different prisons, right? The men and the women prison rights. That is being destroyed. Like over in England, there have been cases where a male rapist has come forth and said, you know what, I'm actually a woman. And they have taken that man and put him in a female prison where he has then gone on to very predictably rape women. Like, who would have thought that would have happened? He said he was a woman. It's outrageous. And that was starting to happen in the United States. Toward the end of the Obama administration, they issued guidelines for trans rights, where they were talking about putting men who thought that they were women or said that they were women into female prisons, starting the same sort of crap that's going on over in England. We do that, what they do over in a delayed fashion. The Trump administration has started rolling that back, fortunately, to try and protect female inmates. But there's been more press about how evil the Trump administration is for protecting female inmates, or should I say, destroying trans rights, than there was about the fact that they were taking men, including men with sexual abuse, crimes, and putting them in with women. That's outrageous. So the most ridiculous, outrageous stuff that you hear, like that, it's coming. It's coming. Alright, that's all I have to say for now. If you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it with your friends. I can only spread the word so much. Also, subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified of new videos. I have a link in the description that provides you with better ways to subscribe more reliably. I also have another link that'll provide you with ways to support me if you want to help, support what I'm trying to do here. Thank you so much to those who already have. And thank you.
Check out our official products at our home site, healthwise.org. We have been helping people to live better and healthier lives for a decade. Our products tend to be more effective than other products, as they work with nature instead of against it. We recommend our colloidal copper lotion, which is our flagship product, or everyone's favorite, the dental cleanser. Thank you for listening and for your support.